I feel like I've been in a lot of drama.
You're extra, you're loud, you're unapologetic.
Well, thank you.
Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B. Two rap queens back at war, hurling insults over lyrics, album sales, Cardi's babies, some barbecue ribs, even Barney the dinosaur.
This sounds exciting.
So, who's the drama?
Oh my God. That's a great question.
Well, it takes two to tango. Here's Nicki and Cardi's latest social media battle explained.
So there Cardi B was, minding her entire business, literally just posting photos of ribs she was cooking in the oven, living her best domestic life, when Nicki Minaj decided to wake up and choose absolute chaos. And I mean chaos. What I'm about to tell you involves deleted tweets, photoshopped mugshots, accusations that would make your jaw hit the floor, and the kind of messy alphabet war that has the entire internet absolutely losing it. But here's what's truly wild. The revelation that comes later in this story will make you question everything you thought you knew about this 7-year feud. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this beef is nowhere near over, and what's coming next is going to be absolutely unhinged. Before we dive into this absolute mess, smash that subscribe button if you love sophisticated drama breakdowns with actual context, hit the like button, and please hit that new hype button. It's YouTube's latest way to support creators, and it helps our channel reach more discerning tea enthusiasts like you. Trust me, you'll want to be subscribed for what's coming in this series, because this beef has layers we haven't even begun to unpack. Let's set the scene, shall we? September 29th, 2025. Cardi B just dropped her sophomore album, Am I the Drama? And yes, the title is giving major self-awareness, which immediately shot to #1 on the Billboard 200, moving an impressive 235,000 equivalent album units in its first week, and racking up 146 million streams. The album went double platinum almost instantly. Cardi was celebrating, her fans were celebrating, and everything seemed like it was going smoothly in the Barty Gang headquarters. But wait until you hear what Nicki did next, because this is where it gets absolutely wild. Nicki Minaj, who apparently had been sitting there just waiting for the perfect moment to strike, decided to crawl out of whatever cave she'd been lurking in and start throwing shade. I'm talking about the kind of nuclear-level pettiness that makes you wonder if someone woke up and chose violence as their entire personality for the day.
So today, on Nicki Minaj's son's literal birthday, she is taking time to fight her other son, Cardi B. Now, anytime Cardi B achieves anything, Nicki Minaj gets extremely triggered because Nicki's always had this conspiracy theory that Cardi B is an industry plant that was manufactured to usher Nicki out of the #1 spot of female rap. And Cardi B went on Call Her Daddy this week and finally answered that question and said, no, she's not an industry plant. Her and Nicki Minaj just don't get along, and that's okay. But this week, when Cardi B's sophomore album, Am I the Drama, debuted with a terrific 200,000 units sold, Nicki started posting to the world that Cardi B is lying and her album didn't sell 200,000 units. Nicki posted so many other things about how Cardi is lying, so Cardi took to Twitter to start the fight, and she said, "You must have missed me. Huh, crazy. Now kiss my feet," at Nicki Minaj. Nothing more annoying than a bored bitch.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Nicki was genuinely bothered by Cardi's success? Or was this calculated promotion for her upcoming March 2026 album? Here's the thing though, and this is where my discerning eye for messiness really picks up on the details. Nicki started by posting a cryptic message: never provoke a writer while they're working. Which, okay, ominous and vaguely threatening, very on brand. But then she followed it up with $4.99, which was apparently a jab at the promotional price of Cardi's album on iTunes. Now, let me just say, attacking someone's sales strategy when they literally went #1 and double platinum? That's giving desperate energy if we're being completely honest here. But here's what nobody saw coming, and this is just the surface level of the insanity. Nicki then decided to mock one of Cardi's songs called Magnet, which has these lyrics that go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, these witches can't fudge with me. And instead of just, moving on with her life like a well-adjusted person, Nicki twisted these lyrics into personal attacks.
Nicki then started calling Cardi Barney by saying Barney dangerous, and then she began mocking Cardi's song Magnet. She posted ABCDFG, fallen off the charts with a big belly, running trains, barefoot, still smelly, still you could not outsell me.
Nicki Minaj tweets back, ABCDEFG, rap like Barney, still ugly, saying that she's a very bad rapper who raps in like a very elementary, basic way.
And this is where it gets crazier because Cardi was not about to let any of this slide.
And then Cardi says back, cocaine Barbie. The power I have to make these bitches come out of rehab every time. Now go to your fucking room. So Nicki mocks her and says ABCDEFG, surgery to look like me. Then she says ABCDEFG, pregnant, play with his bussy, because Cardi B's pregnant with her 4th child, with her new boyfriend, Stephon Diggs.
The woman who was literally just cooking ribs decided it was time to absolutely obliterate Nicki with the kind of comeback that had me clutching my pearls. Cardi came out swinging with,
Then Cardi hit her back and said, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, your man have to snatch pussy. Pussy tastes like honeycomb. Your bro be touching 12-year.
Now, that last part was a reference to Nicki's brother, Jelani Mirage, who was convicted of predatory essay and endangerment in 2017. Cardi even photoshopped one of Nicki's signature bob wigs onto his mugshot, which is genuinely the most savage thing I've seen on the internet in months.
Then Nicki took it to like insane levels and said, raw dogging pregnant with the fourth baby, Barney B, BV, HPV, allegedly, saying that Cardi B has STDs because she does it raw.
But wait until you hear what Cardi said next. It's absolutely wild and shows you exactly why she wasn't playing games. Cardi wasn't finished. Not even close. She started calling Nicki Cocaine Barbie and claimed that Nicki had fertility issues from excessive substance use. She wrote something along the lines of, all right, now this is the third tweet talking about my pregnancy, like you weren't going to different fertility doctors because you couldn't reproduce from all them perks scrambling your eggs. Now, I need to be clear here. These are allegations and we have absolutely no way of verifying the truth of these claims. But what's fascinating from a cultural observer's standpoint is how personal this got. How quickly. Comment your theories below. Do you think this was years of resentment finally exploding? Or is this all strategic album rollout drama? But here's the thing though, Cardi also made an absolutely valid point that honestly had me nodding along. She wrote,
Then Cardi finally said something Nicki has been needing to hear for a long time. She said, why you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag that you think it is. You've been in the game like 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that started around your time. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake. Those are the numbers you need to be competing with, and you can't because you're doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. What the is you comparing yourself to me for?
And you know what? She has a point. The revelation ahead is going to make you realize just how deep this jealousy might actually run. Nicki Minaj, who's been in the industry since approximately 2009, is comparing her sales to someone who dropped their debut studio album in 2018. That's like a college graduate getting into a math competition with a middle schooler and then bragging about winning. It's not the flex you think it is. Let me know below, is Cardi right that Nicki should be comparing herself to artists from her own era? Or is all competition fair game in rap? Now, here's where it gets truly petty in the most sophisticated way possible. Nicki posted a photo of an eagle in flight with its wings spread wide. Just an eagle. No caption. Nothing. But the Barbs, that's Nicki's fan base for those uninitiated, immediately understood what she was doing.
It's clear that Nicki has been checking Cardi's numbers because of what she's been tweeting all day today, which started with a picture of an eagle. Now, Cardi's album cover and her visuals include crows, so fans figured out that this tweet was directed at Cardi because I guess crows have some sort of beef with eagles where they jump on eagles' back trying to peck them and get a reaction out of the eagles, but the eagle does not fight back. Instead, the eagle just flies higher and the crow just cannot catch up, so it eventually flies away. So Nicki was basically saying, you could try to outsell me, but you're gonna fail.
The symbolism is honestly giving middle school English class where we overanalyze every single detail of a poem. But I digress. But the real tea we haven't even gotten to yet involves why this beef started in the first place. And that backstory is absolutely essential to understanding the level of toxicity we're dealing with here. For those of you who aren't familiar with the history between these two, and trust me, it's a novel, let me take you back to where this whole mess started. The revelation coming up will make you rewatch this entire section with fresh eyes. It all began back in 2017 when Cardi B released Bodak Yellow. This song became an absolute cultural phenomenon, topping the Billboard Hot 100 chart and making Cardi the first solo female rapper to achieve a #1 hit since Lauryn Hill's Doo Wop in 1998. That's nearly 20 years for those keeping track. And here's what's really wild. This was a milestone that Nicki Minaj had been chasing for nearly a decade and had never achieved as a lead artist. Now, Nicki initially congratulated Cardi on Twitter, which seemed gracious and supportive. But here's where the discerning eye catches something interesting. Nicki's fan base, the Barbs, immediately started throwing shade at Cardi. They supposedly saw her as a threat to Nicki's dominance in female rap. And whether Nicki encouraged this behavior or not, she certainly didn't discourage it. Get this though, the real powder keg moment came with the song Motorsport. In October 2017, Migos released Motorsport, featuring both Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. On paper, this should have been a celebration of two successful female rappers collaborating and showing solidarity in a male-dominated genre. But instead, it became the beginning of the end. What I'm about to tell you next shows exactly how this collaboration went completely sideways. According to various reports, Cardi allegedly wasn't happy with Nicki's original verse on Motorsport and supposedly requested that certain lines be changed. Specifically, there was a line, "If Cardi the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi," a reference to legendary NFL coach Vince Lombardi. The line was positioning Cardi as the quarterback and Nicki as the coach. That apparently didn't sit well with Cardi's team. Now, Nicki later claimed on Twitter that any changes made were with her approval, but the damage was already done. Tell me in the comments, if you were in Cardi's position, Would you have requested verse changes or would you have just let it ride? But here's what's insane. When the music video dropped, it became immediately apparent that Nicki and Cardi had filmed their scenes separately. They weren't even in the same room together. The video showed them in completely different locations, and fans immediately picked up on this. Nicki later claimed in an interview with Beats One Radio that the separate filming was due to scheduling conflicts, but she also expressed disappointment that Cardi didn't publicly clear up the rumors about their beef. Nicki said in that interview, "I have never seen her show me any genuine love during an interview. I just see how many girls wish they had been on a song with Nicki Minaj." Which, okay, that's giving "I'm the established queen and you should be grateful" energy, and I can see how that would rub someone the wrong way.
If you really want to talk about it, you know where to link me. We could always link up. You know who to reach out. You know, we could settle it however you want to settle it. We could talk about it or we could fight it out. I'm with whatever. But I'm sick and tired of that back and forth shit. I'm not doing it. I'm in a good space right now. Let me know what's up. Wait, and then you once said that I never showed you genuine love. And that's crazy because when you pull up all my videos, you see that I'm always showing you respect. Because you're somebody that I listened to ever since I was in high school. And that's crazy to me because I show you respect. But the difference between me and a lot of these bitches, I don't suck your dick. That's the difference. What you need to do is stop focusing on other people. Focus on yourself and focus on your craft. Because you're out here f***ing up your legacy looking like a hater.
But wait until you hear about the infamous Fashion Week incident. That's where things went from Cold War to actual warfare. September 7th, 2018. Harper's Bazaar Icons party during New York Fashion Week. Both Cardi and Nicki were in attendance at this exclusive invite-only event at the Plaza Hotel. Everything seemed fine until it absolutely wasn't. According to eyewitness reports and video footage that went viral, Cardi approached Nicki while she was taking a photo with Kelly Rowland and Lala Anthony. Some sources claim that Nicki stepped on the train of Cardi's red Dolce & Gabbana gown, though whether this was intentional or accidental remains disputed to this day. What happened next became instant internet history. Cardi allegedly took off one of her red shoes and threw it in Nicki's direction. Security immediately intervened, and in the chaos, Cardi ended up with a visible lump on her forehead, reportedly from an altercation with Nicki's friend Ra Ali. Cardi was escorted out of the party wearing only one shoe, her hair disheveled, and that lump prominently displayed on her forehead. Meanwhile, Nicki stayed inside and continued her evening as if nothing had happened. Later that night, and I mean mere hours later at 12:14 a.m., Cardi posted a lengthy statement on Instagram. She didn't name Nicki directly, but everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. Cardi wrote that she had let a lot slide, including alleged sneak disses, lies, and attempts to sabotage her career. But the final straw, according to Cardi, was when Nicki supposedly made comments about her abilities as a mother to her newborn daughter Culture, who had been born just 2 months earlier in July 2018. Cardi's statement read, "I've let a lot of things slide. I let you sneak diss me, I let you lie on me, I let you attempt to stop my bags, fudge up the way I eat. You've threatened other artists in the industry, told them if they work with me, you'll stop working with them. I let you talk big stuff about me. But when you mention my child, you choose to like comments about me as a mother. Make comments about my abilities to take care of my daughter, that's when all bets are off." Now here's where it gets complex. Nicki vehemently denied ever speaking about Cardi's child. She said on her Beats One radio show, "I want to say that I would never discuss anyone's child. It's so sad for someone to pin that on me because I'm the bad guy and they know people would believe them. So let me go on record having said I would never talk about anyone's child or parenting." So we have two completely different versions of events, and honestly, only they know what really happened. But here's what's really wild about all of this. After that Fashion Week incident, things went relatively quiet for a while. Sure, there were subliminal disses here and there, proxy wars between their fan bases, and occasional flare-ups, but nothing quite as explosive as that shoe-throwing moment, until now. What comes later will make the Fashion Week fight look like child's play. Between 2018 and 2025, the beef simmered rather than boiled. In 2022, Nicki released Super Freaky Girl Queen Mix, featuring several female rappers including JT and Akbar V. Shortly after, both JT and Akbar V got into public feuds with Cardi, which many fans interpreted as being orchestrated by Nicki, though this was never confirmed. In 2023, both attended the MTV Video Music Awards, marking the first time they'd been at the same major event since the Fashion Week fight. Nicki hosted and performed, Cardi performed with Megan Thee Stallion, and wisely, they managed to avoid each other entirely. Though there was reportedly some tension between their husbands, Nicki's husband Kenneth Petty and Cardi's then-husband Offset after the show. Video surfaced of Petty and his crew allegedly looking for Offset, which resulted in Petty being placed under house arrest for 120 days due to threatening behavior. Throughout 2025, there were subtle jabs and subliminal disses. In July, after Cardi's boyfriend NFL star Stefon Diggs dismissed breakup rumors, Cardi posted messages on social media that fans interpreted as being directed at Nicki, though she never named her directly. But then September 29th happened, and all that simmering resentment came exploding to the surface like a volcano that had been dormant for just a bit too long. The bombshell I'm about to drop makes all of this context absolutely essential to understanding what's really going on. Nicki Minaj is 42 years old and has been in the industry since 2009. She had the throne of female rap essentially uncontested for years. Then Cardi B burst onto the scene in 2017 at age 24, achieved a #1 hit that Nicki never got as a lead artist, won a Grammy, and built a massive fan base in record time. From Nicki's perspective, this must feel like someone walking into your house, sitting in your chair, and everyone suddenly acting like they've always lived there. But here's the thing though, Nicki's frustration, while perhaps understandable on a human level, doesn't justify the continuous attacks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Can you understand where Nicki's coming from, or is this inexcusable behavior? Cardi's point about comparing themselves to their actual peers is valid. Nicki should be measuring her success against Rihanna, Drake, and Taylor Swift, artists who entered the industry around the same time she did. Cardi entered the industry 10 years later, had fewer years to build her catalog, and yet still managed to achieve comparable or superior numbers in certain metrics. That's not Cardi's fault. That's just the reality of the situation. Now let's talk about the absolute chaos that erupted on social media, because honestly, the fan reaction might be even messier than the actual beef itself. The comment section is about to be wild. Drop your reactions as I walk you through this. The Barbs, Nicki's fan base, immediately went into defense mode. They started posting receipts, charts, sales figures, and anything they could find to support Nicki's claims about being the superior artist. They called Cardi a flop, questioned her ability to write her own raps, and brought up every past controversy they could dig up. The eagle symbolism? They were living for it, posting memes about how Nicki was above all the drama, flying high while Cardi was stuck on the ground like a crow. But get this though, the Barty gang, Cardi's fanbase, came back with receipts of their own. They pointed out that Am I the Drama went double platinum in its first week, achieved 146 million streams, and made Cardi one of only 2 female rappers ever to have back-to-back #1 albums. They highlighted that Cardi achieved this with significantly fewer years in the industry than Nicki. They also called out the pettiness of attacking a pregnant woman, which honestly, fair point. Some industry observers have noted that these high-profile feuds between major artists generate valuable publicity for both parties. Every time Nicki and Cardi go at it, their streaming numbers increase, their names trend worldwide, and they dominate the cultural conversation. Nicki has an album coming in March 2026. Cardi just dropped Am I the Drama? The timing of this beef? Suspiciously convenient for both of their commercial interests. I'm not saying it's staged. The emotions seem far too real for that. But I am saying that both of them are smart enough to know that beef sells. Controversy generates clicks. Drama drives streams. And in an oversaturated music market where everyone is fighting for attention, sometimes the best marketing strategy is good old-fashioned public conflict. But here's the thing that's really fascinating from a cultural analysis standpoint. This beef also reflects larger issues in the music industry, particularly for female artists. There's this persistent narrative that there can only be one successful woman at a time in any given space, that women must compete rather than coexist. Male rappers can have 50 successful artists in the game simultaneously, but somehow when 2 women are both thriving, it becomes a problem that needs to be resolved through conflict. Now, I'm not saying that either Nicki or Cardi are blameless victims of industry sexism. They're both grown women making their own choices to engage in this mess. But it's worth examining why we, as a culture, are so invested in watching women tear each other down. Why does this beef get more attention than male rap beefs? Why are we so eager to pick sides and declare a winner? After the initial explosion of tweets, Nicki deleted most of her posts. Cardi left hers up. This is actually quite telling from a strategic perspective. When you delete tweets, it can suggest either regret about what was said, or more cynically, a calculated move to control the narrative and avoid potential legal issues. The fact that Nicki deleted her tweets while Cardi kept hers up also plays into their respective public personas. Cardi has always been more raw and unfiltered, the kind of person who says what she thinks and stands by it. Consequences be darned. Nicki, on the other hand, has cultivated an image of being more calculated and strategic, the chess player who thinks several moves ahead. Whether deleting those tweets was strategic or impulsive, we'll probably never know for sure. Now, here's where this beef crossed a line that honestly has me questioning everyone involved. And this just happened literally hours ago, so we can barely keep up with how unhinged this has become. What I'm about to tell you is the most shocking escalation yet, and it shows that this beef is spiraling completely out of control. On September 30th, which also happens to be Papa Bear's birthday, Nicki's son's 5th birthday, Nicki was on social media posting essays about Cardi instead of celebrating her child's birthday like a normal person would. Let that sink in for a moment. Your son's birthday and you're dedicating your time to dragging someone on the internet. Already concerning energy if we're being completely honest here. Nicki then started with the low blows, and I'm talking unhinged blows. Nicki posted Culture, Cardi's daughter, Vulture, you ugly too. Then leaned in more with Culture, you a roach and a monkey. Like your sister. My god. But then Cardi responded with something that made even me, your sophisticated tea connoisseur, pause and go, wait, what? Cardi wrote, girl, it's your son's birthday. Why are you on Twitter dedicating essays to me? Which, fair point actually. But then she added, and let me tell you something. Let this be the last time you mention my kids before I spill the tea on yours while you talking about ABCs. You go and leave me alone today. It escalated from there. Cardi B then posted, B, you wish you could call my daughter ugly. Culture is beautiful and you know that. Your hate is so deep, dark, and nasty because your son nonverbal because you messed him up with them substances. So you jealous of everybody kids and their happiness. Now it actually gets worse from here, but go into their accounts and see for yourself because I honestly can't dirty up my channel that far. And I need to stop right here because this is where we're firmly in nobody wins territory. Calling someone's child nonverbal and blaming it on the parent's past substance use? That's not tea, that's straight up cruel. And it crosses every conceivable line. Whether it's true or not, and we have absolutely no verification of this claim, bringing children into adult beef is never, ever justified. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have they both gone too far at this point? And let me be brutally honest here. Cardi B is currently pregnant with her 4th child. She's going through a divorce with Offset. She's navigating a new relationship with NFL player Stefon Diggs. She's dealing with major life transitions. And she just dropped an album where she notably did not mention Nicki Minaj once. Not a single bar, not a single subliminal. She left that woman completely alone. Think about that for a second. Cardi's album dropped, Nicki wasn't referenced anywhere on it, and yet Nicki decided to start this entire mess anyway, then escalated it to calling Cardi's 6-year-old daughter ugly on her own son's birthday instead of being present for him. That's not just petty. That's genuinely disturbing behavior from a 42-year-old mother who should absolutely know better. Now, here's what's really concerning from a health perspective. The stress levels Nicki is forcing on a pregnant woman right now, that cannot be good for Cardi or her unborn child. Cardi is being forced to defend her 6-year-old daughter from attacks by someone who started beef with her for literally no reason. What mother wouldn't respond to someone calling their child ugly? The fact that Cardi had to experience this level of stress while pregnant because Nicki couldn't just leave her alone is genuinely infuriating when you think about it. I want to be absolutely clear here. Yes, Cardi's responses about Papa Bear crossed lines and were inappropriate. Attacking anyone's child is wrong. Full stop. But let's be honest about who instigated this and who made it about children first. Nicki started this beef unprovoked, Nicki brought the children into it by attacking Culture first, and Nicki did all of this on her own son's birthday instead of being a present mother. The pattern here is clear and it's not flattering for the queen of rap. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is there any excuse for what Nicki did here? Here's the reality of covering this beef. By the time I finish writing this script, editing this video, and uploading it, there will probably be 3 more explosive exchanges. This is not simmering down. This is not going to resolve itself anytime soon. Every few hours, there's a new tweet, a new accusation, a new line being crossed. Just today, as I'm putting this together, Nicki posted denying she ever went to fertility doctors, then posted about how fertility struggles shouldn't be used as a drag, then deleted most of her tweets, then posted an eagle photo, then, honestly, I've lost track. The internet is moving faster than anyone can reasonably document. The Barbs and Barty gang are in full warfare mode across every platform. Memes are being created in real time. Screenshots are being taken and analyzed. It's absolute pandemonium. Nicki's behavior here is showing a woman who is so consumed by jealousy and bitterness that she's willing to attack a child to hurt that child's mother. That's not queen behavior. That's unhinged behavior. That's the behavior of someone who has let their ego and insecurity completely override their morality and maternal instincts. Comment your honest thoughts below. Can you respect someone who calls a 6-year-old ugly? And for those of you wondering where I stand, Team Nicki or Team Cardi, I'm team both of you are talented and could accomplish so much more if you channeled this energy elsewhere. But that's just me being rational in an inherently irrational situation. If you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. You've now got the complete, contextualized, sophisticated understanding of one of hip-hop's messiest ongoing feuds. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more in-depth tea analysis, hit the like button to support the channel, and drop your most honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know what you think about this whole situation. Until next time, I'm spilling the tea, one drop at a time, and reminding you that sometimes the most interesting part of the drama isn't who's right or wrong. It's understanding why we care so much in the first place. Peace out, tea lovers. Stay classy, stay discerning, and I'll see you in the next one.